Hi, and welcome back for another Brunette Bimbo podcast. I am your host, Victoria Stone, and I am so excited to be bringing you yet another episode of the Brunette Bimbo podcast. For those of you who are new here, my name is Victoria, and I talk about mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual wellness. I want to promote everybody to be as well and as happy and as wealthy as they can be. I want people to indulge in habits and prioritize taking care of things that make them happy, that fuel their soul, and that bring them the ultimate peace, comfort, and prosperity. And it is the little things that create peace, comfort, and prosperity. And so I like to share my experiences and share things here on this channel that may inspire you or help you to do that. If that sounds like something that you are so interested in, you're like, yeah, I'm here for that, go ahead and stick around. This podcast is going to be a good podcast. We're going to be talking about toxic masculine fathers and toxic masculine elders, how to deal with it, what it's like, and how you can ultimately get through it and live a better life without that burden on your heart and your mind. If that sounds like you, let's get started. Grab a snack, grab a drink, and a notebook if you need. So, toxic fathers. What do we look for there? I mean, people have disagreements with their dads. Not everybody always gets along with their parents. How do you necessarily know if they're toxic or if you're just having a disagreement? I'm going to give you a few pointers that may help. One thing that I would look for is constant criticism, especially in a not negative or derogatory tone, that is usually not aimed to be something constructive, but more aimed to take down your self esteem and your confidence in your ability to do things. Of course, other signs you can look for is emotional unavailability, especially when it's intentionally timed. So they may give and take away love, but really not give you any understanding of why they do that or what they're expecting from you. They just constantly keep you in this gray area of standby where they're touch and go, touch and go, touch and go, but you're the one usually who ends up paying the emotional consequences. And there are people out there who unfortunately do this intentionally. They understand the psychology of a young woman and the impact that men, especially their fathers, have on them, and they intentionally disregard that. And that is unfortunate. Another sign to look out for is lack of boundaries. Yes, with themselves, they do not set clear boundaries around themselves, but also they have lack of boundaries for your boundaries. They have lack of consideration for the boundaries that you have verbally, repeatedly told them that you have. They don't feel like that applies to them because they see themselves as somehow above you or somehow in ownership of you. Something that's a little deeper and a little more obvious, I feel like, is trying to control your decisions through emotional manipulation, financial control, or other means of controlling your decisions. Like, for example, I will help you get a car, but only if you use it when I tell you you can. You can be on the phone, but only when I say it's okay, and only the people I say it's okay to talk to. You can go there, but not unless I give you permission. And I understand if you're a minor, this may be kind of hard, to understand if that is like them being a parent or not. So for minors, I'm sorry if this is going to be very confusing. This topic is probably going to help adults more than minors. They directly attack your character whenever things start going awry for them. So when things in their own personal life start to frustrate them or upset them, they directly attack your character, attack things they know you to be struggling with, whether that be life choices that are not panning out the way you want to, mental health, emotional health, or they will directly attack your financial success or failure and try to emotionally manipulate you with that because they can't handle their own failings, their own shortcomings. Then they don't have enough integrity to work through those big emotions. Make sure that you listen to this episode all the way until the end because there will be an advice section. I'm not just going to give you all these signs and not tell you what to do with the information. However, I do encourage you to seek mental health professionals if and when you feel it's necessary, even if you don't feel it's necessary, because having a licensed therapist to talk to is going to help you work through all of life's minor and large problems. Okay, and for a few more warning signs. I've already kind of touched on this, but they are constantly critical of you. They never have a nice thing to say. Their compliments are backhanded. They purposely criticize you, usually to lower your self esteem. They don't ever praise any wins you do have. If you succeed in something, they downplay it. That kind of behavior. I know a lot of us have dealt with this, whether from fathers or other people in our lives, and it's a really crappy experience. And if you don't understand it, it can really lower your self value. And I don't want that to happen to you guys. You guys are worthy, beautiful people, and I don't want people out there making you feel like you're less than because you are absolutely lesser than nobody. Everyone is equal. I also already kind of touched on these things, but they give you conditional affection, and a lot of times conditional affection is never explained to you. They never tell you what conditions you have to meet for their affection. And if they do, it's constantly changing, usually. In my experience and in the experience of other people I've talked to, that's kind of how they've seen it go, and that's how I've seen it go in my own personal life. So I just want to throw that out there as well. I want to give you guys as much information as I possibly can and give you guys stuff from my own life when it's useful, because what is the point of going through negative stuff if you can't help other people get through something you've already been through? Okay, I really hope you guys are still with me because the next part we're going to get into is the advice portion. If you need to, go ahead and pause the video and refill your drink, get another snack, and make sure your notebook and pen are ready to go. Since we have talked a lot about boundaries in this podcast episode, I'm going to start there. The first thing you should do if you're dealing with a toxic father and you want to combat his negative behavior that is affecting you in a harsh way, the first thing you need to do is set very clear and concise boundaries. Make it very obvious what the boundaries are. You do not have to be rude about it. Just calmly, verbally let them know. And you shouldn't have to continuously let them know. So if you've already let them know and you've continuously let them know, I've got more advice on the way. Don't worry, this is not the only piece of advice. The next thing you need to do is prioritize your own emotional health. A lot of times, toxic fathers do depend on the person that they mistreat for something that feeds them. Whether it's the emotional outburst that eventually happens that feeds them, or they come to that person seeking love and comfort, knowing that they will always be there and available because they've been waiting forever to be noticed, given time of day, whatever the case. If you deal with a toxic father or a toxic masculine role in your life, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So make sure you are pulling your energy back into yourself, and any of your actions that are pouring out into something, pour into something for you and not for them. So let's say you do their laundry, you cook their food, you clean their house, you try to remind them of important dates, etc., etc. And they rely on you for these things even though they are not kind to you, right? Stop doing those. Are they reminding of you of your important dates, etc., etc.? If they're borrowing money from you, big no no. Stop that immediately. Every time they come to ask you for money, be like, I don't have none. Do you have like maybe $5 I could borrow? Literally start doing that. And if you have somebody in your life who constantly harasses you for money, you don't have to, when they ask you for money, ask them for money if you think that's not a good tactic. But like a week later, ask them for money and then start regularly telling them, oh, I need money. And they will stop asking you for money. And by now, I probably sound like I'm beating a dead horse when I talk about the art of detachment. I have so many reels talking about how other people react when you master the art of detachment, and it makes them so emotional. It causes them to feel what they are causing you to feel. And you are completely within Zen no matter how they react, no matter what they try to throw at you. You are in your own Zen. You are comfortable and at peace in your own body despite their emotional irregulation. And people like this, they don't know how to regulate their emotions. They don't know how to regulate through change, and they don't know how to regulate through lack of control, especially around people that they have previously always been able to manipulate and control. Prioritize you and pour into you first. Make sure you're eating well. Make sure you're getting sleep. And if they're being problematic, that is a great time to go for a walk, to exercise, whatever the case may be. If you regularly dye your hair, make sure that you're still doing that. If you regularly do your makeup, make sure you're still doing that. And if they try to hinder that by being emotionally manipulative, volatile creatures while you're doing those things, thinking that they can throw a bamboo stick in there and totally stop the roll that you're on, guess what? That bamboo stick gonna snap. You're just gonna laugh. You're like, okay, well, right now I'm doing my makeup, and then after, if you'd like to talk or something, we can talk. But I'm not really sure I want to talk right now. Is there something you need? Oh, well, I can help you with that need when I'm finished doing my makeup, and I might have to eat after this. Because there's nothing wrong with prioritizing your own well-being, especially when people feel the right and entitlement to just have your time whenever they choose. You don't want to get used to letting people do that. You absolutely don't want to get used to letting people just interrupt you whenever they feel like, especially if you're feminine. No, you want to stand in your feminine power, which means when I have time for you, I will get to you. I will delegate you. But you must be patient in the meantime, because I'm a feminine. You're here because I pulled you in with my own existence, not even trying. And I'm here because you chose to pump one into my mama with no protection. Right? Maybe don't say that. I'm sorry. That's my own inner thought. Don't say that to your parent. That's not a good thing. But that's the truth. And pouring into yourself first, detaching from them and not giving them access to your time and not making them feel so comfortable just calling upon you at any given moment, while also simultaneously treating you like dog doo-doo. All right? That is going to help you reinforce those boundaries that you verbally told them you had, that they thought were questionable. Having actions that follow the words you say make people recognize that they can't just get away with whatever they want. And if somebody escalates to the point that they physically harm you, call 911. Call 911 while it's happening. Let them incriminate themselves. Screw it. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Also, make sure your actions back up what you say. Detach from people who are negative and no good for you, whether they're related to you or not. And if you got the power to pull your energy away from people you love more than anything in the world, I promise you, friendships, coworkers, toxic bosses, people trying to steal your money, whatever it is, when you get older or further down the line with other people, you're not going to be afraid to do what you need to do and to stand up for yourself, because you've cut off family before. So cutting off these other people who are no good for you is no different. It probably will be easier to cut those people off because you've cut off family who's no good for you. So of course you can cut off a friend who's very toxic and manipulative. Of course you can get away from a boss who's very horrific. So these things, even though they're difficult to go through right now, once you learn how to get through them and you actually put things that you learn into practice and you see it pay out, that's going to give you the confidence and the ability to mentally and spiritually withstand whatever the world throws at you. And every time you go through something negative like this, it's just muscle training. It's just muscle training for your spirit. That's all it is. It's just a gym day for your spirit. And I know it sucks, and so does exercise, really. Like, leg day sucks, right? And going through negative stuff sucks. But it's basically just a leg day for your spirit. So, in the long run, you might even be grateful that these people were such conniving little pieces of work, because it's going to make you that much more capable, confident, and creative in the long run. You're going to know what to do with these kinds of people, and you're not going to let nobody dim your light. Once you go through stuff like this, you know how to shine your light no matter what. You know how to be who you are no matter what. You just got to survive this and learn what it takes to get through it. And also, like I've said, seek professional help if you need to. Get a therapist, call the popo, whatever you got to do. You just got to take care of you, because nobody else is going to advocate for you as hard as you are. And sadly, we live in a world where sometimes people don't care until you're dead. Sometimes people don't care about you until you dead and gone. Dearly beloved, that's when they start caring. That's when they love you. That's when they can't believe that you're gone. They're never going to see you again, but they were never calling you. They were never trying to check in on your well-being. They were never trying to feed your spirit, and or actively doing the opposite, trying to tear you down, break you apart. They didn't want to see you win because they didn't win. They weren't brave enough to go after their own dreams. They weren't brave enough to be themselves. They weren't brave enough to stand up to people who try to control them. So now that they think it's their turn to try and control you, they don't know how to deal. They don't know how to deal. But that ain't your problem. That's their trauma and their bullcrap to work through. And it ain't right for them to be trying to put it on you, baby. Okay, gotta catch my breath a minute, because I got a little passionate there. Sorry. But my point in case is 10 toes down for you. Alright, battle armor on and go to war for yourself. The hell are you going to war for these other people for? Why are you suffering for these people that don't give a dang about you? They don't give a dang. They don't give a darn. They ain't never cared. So why should you care? You should be pouring into you and pouring into people who support you, believe in you, love you, feed you. Well, maybe like physically or spiritually. I was speaking of spiritually feeding you, but feed you physically too, because I like to eat, you like to eat, we all like to eat. You don't want to be around people who feel entitled to stuff that they didn't help you earn, or who only want to help you so that they can take the credit for shit that you work for, stuff that you work for. I mean, not, sorry. I'm getting a little passionate is all, okay? I'm getting a little passionate. Because I don't want to see nobody trying to take advantage of you guys. I don't want to see nobody trying to hurt you guys. And I definitely don't want to see nobody trying to get up in your head and control how you think about yourself. You are the shiznick. Act like it. Stand on it. You are the main character of your own movie. Yeah. Boss fight, baby. Time to start feeding into you. Time to start taking care of you. Time to start loving up on you. Because ain't nobody gonna do it for you. Hey, hey, hey. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, do you get it? Have I gotten my point across yet? Also, if you are in a place where you're like feeling like you're abused, you're feeling like you need to get out of there, right? You're like, I cannot spend the rest of my life here. It's do or die. It's do or die. It's do or die. If you feel like that, baby, I got some advice for you. You might not have money right now. You might not have a car right now. You might not even got a destination. But you know you need to get the down the road, right? You need to become financially literate, especially if you are experiencing financial abuse. That means they're withholding money from you. You need to find ways like getting on YouTube and listening to free audiobooks and becoming financially literate. You need to know what an index investment is. You need to know what the rich people know about money. That's how you can make money. Public school don't teach you about money for a reason. Alright? These private schools, they have a completely different curriculum than public schools, and it's for a reason. You need to quit thinking out the blue collar box and start thinking out of what could be possible for yourself. And anything can be possible for yourself when you become financially literate. Women who are financially literate are powerhouse women. Become educated, become financially literate. Because even if you ain't got the tools yet, you got the smarts. And once the tools come into play, you're going to know what to do with them, and you're not going to fumble because you've already been studying. Right? This is practice before the game. This is practice before you get in the big game. When you go out in the big game and everybody's out in the stands and you got the other team on the other side of the field and all that bull crap, you do not want to be questioning if you're going to be able to pull that off. So, during practice, crack a book open. Get on YouTube. Find some shit about financial literacy. Find some shit about communicating with other people. Find some shit about how you get into money when you don't have money. Learn when the best time to invest is, and how long you should invest for, and when you're going to see your payouts, and what kind of stuff is worth investing in. Research the companies that you're thinking about investing in. Find out who owns the stuff that you want to invest in. Find out who owns the companies you like to shop at. Find out how they got to be the owner. This stuff is free and available. Free and available. Free and available. Use it. Use it. Become powerhouses. Become powerhouses. Don't let nobody stop you. And definitely don't let toxic fathers, or really any toxic person who's trying to establish control and dominance over you, tell you who, when, where, what, and how you're going to be. You already know deep in your soul who you want to be, how you're going to make it happen. You might not have all the details worked out yet, but your soul knows. Your heart knows. And your mind just needs to catch up to the rest of that. I hope this episode has been helpful. I know I got a little passionate more than once. Got a little goofy, but that's because I care about the people who listen to this podcast. You guys are helping me make my own personal goals come true. So of course I want to give back to you, and I want to make you feel empowered to go out there and slay anything that stands in your way. And I may not know everything, but I do know a thing or two, because I've seen a thing or two. Sorry. I watch way too many commercials from back in the day. Well, I remember way too many commercials from back in the day. And my ADHD randomly plays them in my head sometimes. But it's true. I have seen a thing or two. I do know a thing or two. I may not know everything, but the things I know about, I can help you with. And I hope this has been helpful. If not entertaining, because I know, like I said, I got passionate. A girl got passionate in this episode. I did not keep it cute and collected. But that's okay. Like I said, I care about you guys. Alright. If you really liked this episode, I have plenty more on the YouTube channel. They are all called Brunette Bimbo Podcast. I also have mini vlogs and other just fun videos for you to watch, and you can follow me across all social media platforms that I am on, which is YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at the moment, under Victoria Stone, as you see here on my YouTube channel. If you want to stay up to date with me on everything that I'm doing, go ahead and follow those other socials and hit the bell and subscribe button here. And please leave a comment of a topic that you would like me to discuss here on the channel. I would love to hear topics from you guys, things that you are going through or have dealt with that you would like to hear my opinion on. Again, thank you so much for staying till the end of this podcast. I hope I wasn't blowing in your face, but if I was, it's only because I'm very passionate about this topic and about you guys being able to make it through to the other side and have a positive and prosperous life. Alright, until next time, I'm Victoria Stone. Thank you and goodbye.